languages they hear. There's a limit to what they can understand.
And I think everyone needs to understand just the schedule pressures that they're on a day-to-day basis.
Right. You know, one of the nice things about Macs is that you don't interact with the driver.
No.
You, all the communications are automated. I'm sure it's much easier for you to
Yeah.
ask the driver any questions. Right. The drivers like that too. The drivers prefer to drive Macs. You know?
But I'm gonna Mac.
You've had a lot of experience with TriMet.
Yeah,
and so are you saying that there was a time when the TriMet workers were more friendly?
Yeah.
More courteous? Do you think the customer service is kind of deteriorated over time?
I think budget cuts can affect a lot of things and affect people's attitudes.
So can labor conflicts, you know. That's all part of it. Yeah.
So, so you do very interesting work and very interesting in writing, and this is an area that Laddie is very passionate about. What would you say? Tell a story maybe from the last 3 months or whatever time frame you'd like about the most interesting work that you've done or the most interesting discovery you made.
Probably the most enjoyable thing I get to do is when a transit system that hasn't been designed very well and that has just sort of accumulated routes without really having the clear pattern decides to actually just start all over and design it all from scratch. And I've done those kinds of projects a few times. Most recently in Auckland, New Zealand, the biggest city in New Zealand, which is about the size of Portland, but it's much more spread out. And we had the chance there. They just said, okay, the rail lines are given, but other than that, just let's think through the bus system from scratch. What should it really look like if we were designing it from scratch? And that was very exciting because we were in their case, they had so many different bus lines just running on top of each other without any coordination that we were able to increase frequencies a great deal. The trade-off is generally when we do that, and this is a process that Portland did 30 years ago, and I was here when they did it. But the trade-off is that you have to transfer more in return for having simpler and more frequent services. But that's the process, and you know, Auckland is now in the process of thinking about the plan that we developed for them, whether to proceed with.
All right, I will go to that woman. How I ask woman?
Are you saying, because you're going to have an interview with the public information officer at TriMet soon, and
how I ask woman?
Okay, so maybe if you were going to ask one question of TriMet, what do you think would be one of the best questions Laddie could ask TriMet?
Oh, I don't know. I think that the question that many people are asking about TriMet is, you know, and the TriMet doesn't know the answer to this because TriMet doesn't control its own funding sources. Is, you know, how are we going to turn TriMet around? How are we going to start, you know, at what point are we going to start investing in the bus system again in particular, since the bus system has been cut so badly? I think the public information officer will tell you that they're concerned about that too, and they are. But really what's happened now is that there's some argument about whether TriMet, using the funding sources that it has, can get back to the level of service that Portland needs. And it may ultimately be necessary for there to be some new kind of tax, right? That may ultimately be what we're talking about. Yeah. One of the interesting things that's happening is that the city of Seattle and the city of Portland both put their own operating money, both put some of their own money into their streetcars. And this is a first step toward dealing with the fact that the big city in the middle of the region needs more service per person. And that may ultimately mean that they have to throw some money into that, from the city. And that's not something mayors want to think about, but I do argue that that's kind of the mathematical reality of it, because inner cities need so much more service per person than, all the suburban areas around them.
My father, I like to but from that, I had to meet the answer.
Yeah.
Like on the whole, you're happy with their services, but you feel like they could improve in the area of customer service.
Yeah, you know what, I heard I'm hard.
You're a pretty harsh critic.
Yeah.
TriMet.
I'm hard guy. TriMet. What's his name?
Jarret?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I will. TriMet.
Well, maybe that leads to one last interesting question, and what do you think that someone who is a regular user of public transit, like Laddie, how should they be involved in their city or in transit issues? What's the best way for them to affect change?
I think you need to understand that the problem right now is that TriMet is facing a real financial crisis. They may be able to stabilize and not have to cut anymore, but we still have to ask whether the service that we have after all these cuts is adequate, is what Portland needs, or whether we need to aim higher. We need to aim for more service than this. If you do want more service than you have, your problem isn't really with TriMet. Your problem is really with all the leaders of the region. And I think Mayor Hales needs to hear from you as much as TriMet needs to hear from you.
I do them. Boy,
You're just as harsh in your criticism of
You just started.
Mayor Hales.
You gotta give him a week anyway.
Yesterday.
Freshly sworn in.
No.
Well, Jarret, I think this interview was great. We really appreciate you being a part of mainstream media.
Thanks very much, Tom.
Have a good time, Laddie?
Give name.
One of your cards?
Business cards, yeah.
Yeah.
You bet.
Great.
Okay.
I wrote a book.
You're interested in the book that he wrote, is that right?
Yes. You
Where?
can find it at Amazon and all the usual places.
How much?
Amazon and Powell's.
How much is it? He's asking.
Powell's has it for $35.
Yeah.
If you go to powells.com if you want to spend your money locally.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Amazon has it for about the same price.
Yeah.
You know what? I want my whole book done.
There's a picture of the book on the cover, on the card there, too.
Oh, thank you.
Give it my car. Done now.
You want to give him one of yours, Laddie?
Okay. Super.
I have it. Go ahead. I have it.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming here. Thank you so much.
Thanks
Yeah.
very much, Anthony.
But I
Thank you
want
very
to
much,
give it
Laddie.
my car.
Thank you, Jarret.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give my car.
One of your business cards?
Yeah.
Yeah, you bet. Should I go ahead and?
Yeah.